Peace to the gods. This is Akeem from Hindsight Radio, the information station changing the nation. Just wanted to give you guys information about my website. You can go to akimel.com, and I have remedies for tax issues, CPN credit, debt, third-party debt collectors, and much, much more. Go to akimel.com. And my show is on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. The website for that is blogtalkradio.com/hindsight 2020. Peace.
This is Hindsight Radio. I represent it. The information station changing the nation.
Peace to the gods. Good morning, Akeem. This is John Blackstar. I hear you.
Okay, good. Thank you. All right. Appreciate that. As y'all know, I was playing my boy Rev Ike. He was definitely before his time. Anybody that don't know who he is, he's a preacher from the 60s and 70s, very prominent 60s, 70s, 80s. He preached up into, I think, the 2012 somewhere. He passed somewhere. Not too long ago. But that series is called the Disciple series. It's I think it's about 13. It's 13 recordings. He goes through each one of the apostles, explaining how each one of them is an aspect of your subconscious or your consciousness. But I recommend everybody listen to him. Because if you really want to know about the esoterical meanings of the Bible, he taught them in detail. And you need to get an esoterical dictionary. I have one. It's called the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary by Charles Fillmore. I have that. All your prosperity preachers that are teaching now are the one they got their information from Rev Ike. But anyway, let's get on to what we was going to talk about. Let me share my screen. This is a standard letter that people are getting when they're denying you the passport, whether you do it as a national or not. They're sending this letter out. I got to redact it, to keep the person private. Just let me know if y'all can see that screen.
Yes, sir. I can see it.
Okay, good.
Yep.
All right.
See it clearly.
Keep the mics unmuted until I get disturbances. I really hate muting and muting out, but if y'all just keep your background noise to a minimum or mute your own phone out, that would help. This is the letter that someone just got last week. And this is a standard letter that they sent out for people who have seriously delinquent tax obligations. And I always tell people, let me know if you have tax issues before you go for the passport. I remember talking to this specific individual specifically, and they claimed they took care of it, but obviously it's not. So they send this letter out saying that you need to contact the Department of Treasury. Let me go ahead and read it. It says, thank you for your recent passport application. Unfortunately, you are ineligible to receive a passport services because the Department of Treasury Internal Revenue Service certified that you have a seriously delinquent tax debt. Section 51.60A3 of Title 22 of the Code of Federal Regulations reads as follows. 51.60 denial of passports. A, the department may not issue a passport except a passport for direct return to the United States in any case in which the department determines or is informed by a competent authority that 3, the applicant is certified by the Secretary of Treasury as having a seriously delinquent tax debt as described in 26 U.S.C. 735. So, this is a lesson. Whenever you see them throwing codes in there, go read the codes. What I get from people is this. Oh, they turned me down because of the taxes. I can't get it. They don't even bother to read these codes to see what they say and if it even applies to them or not. And today I will reveal to you how this code do not apply. We'll, in general, more detailed. As you know, if you've been listening to my show, I'm taking the more serious and deeper information underground into a private forum so that the information is not filtered or blocked. It's going to go into a private forum where you guys can get the real deep understanding of what some of this stuff is. Now, today I'm just going to give you a general understanding, where to look and how to read this stuff. All right, so it says neither this passport agency nor the Department of State has information concerning your seriously delinquent tax debt. You can contact the IRS at Department of Treasury, blah. So they basically say, go call these people. That's where your problem is, right? Then it says you must make contact and make appropriate arrangements with the IRS within 90 days from the date of this letter. After you have made these arrangements, you must notify our office in writing or by calling the National Passport Information Center at the number listed below. If you have urgent travel, please contact our office as soon as possible after you have made these arrangements. Once the Secretary of Treasury has certified to the Secretary of State that you have satisfied the seriously delinquent tax debt, your name will be removed from the certified list. If satisfactory payment arrangements have not been made within 90 days of the date of this letter, your application will be denied. The Department of State cannot change, override, or appeal this policy. So they're saying that they'll deny it if you don't handle it within 90 days. So basically, this is not a denial letter. It is a get this straight, and then we'll give you your passport. Then he has some other issues about a photograph in here. I won't go into all of that. If you don't know, every passport application is only good for 90 days. So they have 90 days to issue you your passport before the application becomes voided. You would have to do it all over again. So that's why I always ask, let me know what your problems are, whether it be child support or tax. These are the two things that slow down passports: child support and tax debts. If I know that ahead of time, I know how to go at it and shut it down before we even apply. I like to go at the thing before we apply, because now you got a 90-day application sitting out there. Now we got to fight it. Sometimes these IRS issues take longer than 90 days. So that's why I always say, let me know what you got and let's deal with that first before we even try to put you in yet. Because right now they're treating you as a U.S. citizen. So let's go to the codes. Let's look. I always go to what they told me. They said 26 USC 7345. They also said 51.6083 of Title 22. All right. Let's go to the code. Let me pull it up. I'll share my screen in a minute. I'm a little weary because I stayed up till about 3 o'clock in the morning reading this stuff. That's right, y'all. This was going to have to take. If y'all really want to understand what your remedies are, you're going to have to be up late nights studying. And if you really want remedy, because you try to do it during the day with all the distractions, you're not going to absorb the information. I absorb information when nobody is up, and when I mean nobody, when the whole damn neighborhood, all of them sleep. Whoever got the background now, please mute your mic, please. This is being recorded. All right, here it is. 26 USC 7345, revocation of denial of passport in case of certain tax delinquencies. Let's read it. In general, if the secretary receives certification by the commissioner of the Internal Revenue that an individual has seriously delinquent tax debt, the secretary shall transmit such certification to the Secretary of State for action with respect to denial, revocation, or limitation of passport pursuant to Section 32101 of the FAST Act. You notice I got that highlighted. So they're saying the FAST Act is telling them what to do. But before we go to the FAST Act, we'll keep reading. B. Seriously delinquent tax debt. In general, for purposes of this section, the term seriously delinquent tax debt means an unpaid, legally enforceable federal tax liability of an individual. Now, pay attention to the words. Words are important in this instance. It says means an unpaid, legally enforceable federal tax liability. So what they're saying is that there's a possibility a lot of these tax debts are not legally enforceable. Why would they put it in there? Why wouldn't they just say means an unpaid federal tax liability of an individual? But they put legally enforceable, meaning that they know this whole thing is one big scam. So they got to throw that word in there. All right. Then it says, A, which has been assessed. Now remember, this is all the parameters that must be met in order for it to be a legally enforceable tax debt, which has been assessed. B, which is greater than $50,000, and with respect to which, 1, a notice of lien has been filed pursuant to Section 6323, and administrative rights under Section 6320 with respect to such filing has been exhausted or have lapsed. Or 2, a levy is made pursuant to Section 6331. So it's saying it has to be assessed, greater than $50,000, and a notice of lien has to be sent out. And all administrative rights have been exhausted, meaning they have to have given you ample time to respond, such and such. And y'all know, if you've ever dealt with the IRS, they don't do this stuff. I can guarantee you about 3 of these steps are not even done. I tell you right now, which has been assessed? Nope, they don't do that. And the administrative rights? Nope, they don't do that. Sometimes you just go check and it's there. There's a lien. Or they're saying you owe something. Now you weren't properly notified. Okay? Okay, 2, exceptions. Such terms shall not include a debt that is being paid in a timely manner pursuant to an agreement to which the individual is a party under Section 6159 or 7122. So they're saying right here that if you can go and make a payment arrangement with them and it will lift that certification. So that doesn't apply. So if you want to get your passport quickly, you can go and say, hey, I want to make payment arrangements. And initially probably got to give them a little bread up front. And they're supposed to lift the certification while you're under that agreement. Now, I'm going to tell you, I know somebody who was doing that personally, and it's taken him a lot of work to even get that done. He made the payment, did everything almost 2 months ago, and they still haven't lifted the certification. All right, so you can try that. I don't recommend it. B, a debt with respect to which collection is suspended with respect to an individual because a due process hearing under Section 6330 is requested or pending. If anybody knows my IRS webinars, I tell you guys, whenever they try to get you, I'll go for a collection due process hearing. That freezes everything. So if you don't have my IRS webinar at keyml.com, you need to get all 3 of them because it talks about just that. Because an election under Section B or C of Section 6015 is made or relief under subsection F of such section is requested. They talking in gibberish there. You got to go read all those sections, which I'm not going to do. You guys can go do it in your leisure. C, reversal of certification. 1, in general, in the case of an individual with respect to whom the commissioner makes a certification under subsection A, the commissioner shall notify the secretary, and the secretary shall subsequently notify the secretary of state. In such certification, if such certification is found to be erroneous, or if the debt with respect to such certification is fully satisfied or ceases to be a seriously delinquent tax debt by reason of subsection B2. 2, timing of notice. A, full satisfaction of debt. In the case of a debt that has been fully satisfied or has become legally unenforceable, such notification shall be made not later than the date required for issuing the certificate of lien, which with respect to such debt under Section 6325A. So they don't even give you, they say, no, not later than the date required. So what's the date required? See how they're playing games? They play here. B, innocent spouse relief. In the case of an individual who makes an election under subsection B or C of section 6015 or requests relief under subsection F of such section, such notification shall be made not later than 30 days after any such election or request. See, they gave a date here, 30 days. Over there, they gave nothing. So basically, it's you would have to call them. Okay, when is this? What's the date required for issuing a certificate? You see how they leave that out? And that's after you gave them full satisfaction of the debt. They play games, but they on the injured spouse claim they say 30 days. That's why I don't recommend bowing down, because they play games once they get your money. C, installment agreement or offering compromise. In the case of an installment agreement under section 6159 or an offering compromise under section 7122, such notification shall be made not later than 30 days after such agreement is entered in or such offer is accepted by the secretary. You see, they gave another date, 30 days. If you do an installment agreement or offer in compromise, they have 30 days to lift this certification. For those of you who do not know what an offer in compromise, you do know you can offer a lower amount than what you owe to pay it off. And they do take those. When you hear those commercials about we can seriously reduce your tax debt, blah, 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 call us, we'll fix it for a fee. You can do this yourself, offering compromise, if that's what you want to do. All right. They always give remedy at the end of these things. D, erroneous certification. In the case of a certification found to be erroneous, such notification shall be made as soon as practicable after such finding. So if they find it to be erroneous, they got to make, as soon as possible, lift that certification. Let's go to D. Contemporaneous, oh, I'm getting tongue-tied. Contemporaneous notice to individual. The commissioner shall contemporaneously notify an individual of any certification under subsection A or any reversal of certification under subsection C with respect to such individual. Such notice shall include a description in simple and non-technical terms of the right to bring a civil action under subsection E. So they're telling you can go to court. Judicial review of certification. This is what I would do. 1. In general, after the commissioner notifies an individual under subsection D, the taxpayer may bring a civil action against the United States in a district court of the United States or against the commissioner in the tax court. Now, pay attention closely what I just read. People make mistakes here and they go into the wrong court because they gave you two different jurisdictions. All right, let me read it again. After the commissioner notifies an individual under subsection D, the taxpayer may bring a civil action against the United States in a district court of the United States. So if you're going to go after the commissioner or go after the IRS, hold on a second. Somebody coming in. Mute. There you go. This is important. Y'all need to hear this. If you are going to bring a civil action for them giving you an erroneous certification, you must go, if it's against the United States, you have to go into a district court of the United States. But if it's against the commissioner of the IRS, you have to go into tax court and name the IRS commissioner as the defendant. In district court, you name the United States as the defendant. So those are two different jurisdictions. A lot of people think they're the same. There's a U.S. tax court, and then you have the United States district courts, okay? And if people know me, I do that. I help with those processes. To determine whether the certification was erroneous or whether the commissioner has failed to reverse the certification, for purposes of the preceding sentence, the court first acquiring jurisdiction over such an action shall have sole jurisdiction. So whatever court you decide to go in, they're going to have jurisdiction over the hearing of that case. And I know people who, I went into court for the IRS, blah, 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 blah. But they went into the wrong jurisdiction naming the wrong defendant. And it tells you right here who the defendant is. You taxpayers may bring civil action against the United States in District Court of the United States or against the commissioner. They don't tell you who the commissioner is. You have to click these. Here, look. You click. The term commissioner means the commissioner of the Internal Revenue Service. So that's the defendant right there. All right? Let me get rid of this. Hang on. All right. For purpose of the proceeding, okay, let's go to 2. Determination. If the court determines that such certification was erroneous, then the court may order the secretary to notify the Secretary of State that such certification was erroneous. Who is the secretary they're talking about? The term secretary means the Secretary of the Treasury or his delegate. All right. And then it goes on inflation and all of that. That's all irrelevant to our conversation right now. So, at the beginning of this statute, it said 3201 of the FAST Act, right? So, you got to go find that public law of the FAST Act. So, let's go find it. Where was I? This is the FAST Act. Now, let's go all the way to the top. It's a very long, I really hate to do that. Well, I know where I got to go. Right there, page 418. All right, y'all can see that. Make sure, you can. Let me blow it up a little bit. All right. Now, this is the FAST Act. This is the title, 32101 of the FAST Act, revocation. But let me show y'all something. What this is really all about. How they playing games. And the government loves their little games, hiding stuff. I'm trying to get to this so I can go all the way up. Well, let me just see. Let me see if I can do this. All right. Here it is. HR 22, Authenticated Government Information, GPO. HR 22, 114th Congress of the United States. Up. Do y'all notice it say United States of America? Okay. At the first session began and held in the city of Washington on Tuesday the 6th day of January 2015, an act to authorize funds for federal aid, highways, highway safety programs, and transit programs for other purposes. So this FAST Act is about the highways. See? Right. It's Division A, surface transportation, federal aid highways. Now let's go to innovative project finance, public transportation. What the hell does this have to do with your passport and taxes? Huh? And all of these are commercial entities. See, commercial motor vehicles, say commercial motor vehicle drivers, innovation. Y'all getting the point? So this Amtrak, you got Amtrak down there. So this bill is basically for commercial transportation. But they stuck a provision in here to revoke passports for tax problems. So basically, without me going into all of the details, they're treating everybody like as if they're a commercial. They're using commercial transportation. They're part of this government entity, or how do I say it? You're traveling for commercial purposes. That's why they're restricting. You owe us some money. We're not going to give you the ability to make money until you pay us our money. But they treating regular folk like that. Why? Because they're U.S. citizens. They can do that. Let's go. 419 was where I was going to start from. I think it was. Here it is. This is, let me make sure y'all can see that. This is the thing. Basically, it kind of reads the same way as what I just read. It all reads the same thing. Same. It's identical to what I just read pretty much. So, but I would read this over the statute because this is going to have more detail in it and how your remedy is in here. Also, I want to show you something else. How this is all unconstitutional. Hold on, project. All right, let's go to, I think it was 1700s. Is this it? The Articles of Confederation. Style of this confederation shall be the United States of America. That shows you how it's not the United States of America, and each state retains its sovereignty, freedom, and independence in every power, jurisdiction, and right, which is not by this confederation expressly delegated to the United States in Congress assembled. You see, that is one entity. So all of these people that's making the law is United States in Congress assembled. And they're making it for their U.S. citizens. But what I want to read to you, because if you could draw up a document and actually use this. Right here in Article 4, right here, here's your remedy. To better secure and perpetuate mutual friendship and intercourse among the people of the different states in this union, the free inhabitants, this is a key word here, free inhabitants of these states, paupers, vagabonds, and fugitives from justice accepted. Now, you know, if you looked at it as a U.S. citizen, you're a pauper or a vagabond, or basically a fugitive. So they're accepted from this. So if you coming in as a U.S. citizen, this is why none of this, the de jure republic doesn't apply to you. Because this is how they look at you when you are coming in as a U.S. citizen. This is how they look at you, right? Okay, let me keep going. Shall be entitled to all privileges and immunities of free citizens in several states. Meaning, you being, say you're from New York, you're a New Yorker, you have freedoms, you have right to travel, right? But your privileges and immunities are the same in the several states. What are the several states? They're talking about U.S. territories. So when you're in their territories, you have sovereignty in their territories. All right? And the people of each state shall free ingress and regress to and from any other state, and shall enjoy therein all privileges of trade, commerce, subject to the same duties and position restrictions as the inhabitants thereof respectively, provided that such restrictions shall not extend so far to prevent the removal of property imported into any state to any other state, which the owner is an inhabitant. Provided also that no imposition, duties, or restrictions shall be laid by any state on the property of the United States or either of them. All right? So they're telling you, you have free ingress and regress. Hold on. As a free inhabitant. And these are key words you should be putting in your paperwork. And here at the very bottom, if they try to tell you that this doesn't apply, it says right here, full faith and credit shall be given in each of these states to the records, acts, and judicial proceedings of the courts and magistrates of every other state. This is one of the first documents. This is in the U.S. Constitution, and some states have this provision in their constitution as well. So when they try to say, oh, that don't apply, there it says it. Full faith and credit shall be given in each of these states to the records, acts, and judicial proceedings of the courts and magistrates of every other state. So if I was you and you were getting this letter, I would definitely be getting a certified copy of this in my letter to shut that down. Wait a minute, you can't stop me for some. And furthermore, I'm letting you know that I'm not a U.S. citizen. That applies to them. All right. It's 10:30. Opening up the mics for questions now. I generally went over that. Where's my meeting? All right, mics open. Questions.
Yeah, I had a quick question, Akeem.
Say,
With people that are receiving
you know,
the national passport, um, has everybody been receiving, or has anybody been receiving letters from the IRS stating that their 9-8 numbers, any letters pertaining to their 9-8 numbers being um like frivolous letters being sent? I know I had two 9-8 numbers that I created, and I had sent them a notice saying that it was a foreign entity not eligible to, not required to file a return. And I had got those numbers and sent those notices out
that with
several months ago. But after I applied for the passport,
slow
I
down.
got two notices.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, slow down. What's wrong with the letter just saying that you're not required to do a tax return?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
You said they sent you a letter stating that you're not required to file a tax return, right?
No, no, I said I sent them a letter.
Okay, you sent. Why would you have to send them a letter saying you're not required to file a tax return?
Well, according to the IRS manual, they said if you received a letter saying that you were solicited to file a return, that you were supposed to send them a notice back if you weren't required to.
You get a letter saying that? What did the letter say exactly?
I mean, what I got was the that what is it, the CP 575 letter, and that it was saying that this entity would be required to file a 1041.
Oh, that's not what they're talking about. The CP 575 letter is giving you your EIN number.
Right, but in that same letter, it does mention
Know what
about
it
filing
says?
a return.
That's the general thing they tell everybody when they
I
get
got you.
the number. So you don't have to respond to that and say you're not responsible. It's if they
I
send you a letter later on, hey, you didn't file a return, you had this
right.
number. That's when you let them know I'm not responsible for a tax.
Right. I understand. I understand. Now, even though I sent that letter, what the point I was making is I had sent that letter several months ago. That was like early 2018. And I
Mm.
never got anything back. So it was no issue. But when I put in the application for the national passport, that's when I got a letter back. It doesn't look like there's any response required, but they were basically saying that that letter that I sent them saying that I wasn't required was frivolous. It didn't explain or give any grounds as to, why that was valid.
I can't tell you the relevancy of that because one don't have anything to do with the other. Because you did a 9-8 number, that's not in your. You didn't do that in your allegiance, and you didn't give up a social when you did it. So unless they looked at addresses, that I would only be speculating to answer that. So I couldn't really
I
answer.
got you. I
Yeah.
got you. Well, what I'll do in the private, man, I'll send it to you just in case other people have got it. I don't know if you've heard of anybody getting it, but
I
I
did,
got two letters for both of the 9-8 numbers that I got,
that
and
might
it
be
happened to coincide with me applying.
what triggered is you actually sent them something saying you were not responsible for a U.S. tax return. So that basically triggered it, and something else triggered them to respond. I couldn't really.
Well, it coincided with the passport because those letters were sent, man. I was uh, like April or May of last year. I've had those things for a while. I was like, I'm just now getting a letter in the mail about and it just said it was a frivolous letter.
Yeah. Did they say they
You know
were
what I'm saying?
money? Just put no contract and send it back. You know,
I got you. I got you.
whenever they
Yeah,
send
I'll send it to you to
frivolous
give you
letters,
to have
always
you take
put
a
no
look at it.
contract on it because in those letters they have uh some reference of a $5,000 penalty. So you want to no contract that immediately.
But
So,
got you. I got you.
all
All right, I yield the floor.
right. Anybody else?
Peace to the gods.
Peace, peace. What's going
What's
on?
going on, Akeem? How you doing, man?
Doing good.
Hey, yeah, man. So I have the tax revenue, man. James from New York, man. Hey, I got the tax webinar and everything, and I was preparing the letters
Mhm.
to send out, right? The ones that you had drafted up, and I think one of them was a rebuttal letter where it says to them that they didn't respond several times to your request of son and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes into the question Q&A that you said they can't answer anyway. You send that off to them because I wanted to give also a copy of that to my employer with the WA bin and my EIN.
Okay, now, if you do that to your employer, you gotta understand the employer is under the jurisdiction of the United States, so be very careful. You're not the only one who's tried that, and they have not been successful. You work a regular job, it's very difficult to get these people not to take that money out of your check, especially if you've already filled out a W-4 form. So be careful. You can end up losing your job, or they just tell you they're not going to do it. The worst case scenario, you lose your job. And I know a couple of people who tried that and they lost their job. So I'm just giving you full disclosure.
I hate it, brother.
When I teach it from the IRS point of view, I never teach people. And in my video, I say, if you try this on your job, there's a possibility you're going to get fired. So
you did.
Yeah. So
I've been fired 3 times already.
huh?
I've been fired 3 times already messing with these jokers, man. And I'm still there. I'm out a lawsuit against them. Filing a lawsuit against them.
Okay. Well, I mean, you keep this. You stay the course. You should win. You will win. You just because you know what you want. Put it in your mind. You get it. I just always let people know, brother. You need your job. You need to pay your bills. So just they got an army. Your arguments are 100% correct. I mean, the W-4 tells them that it's a choice, but they
voluntary
an obligation, and they will stand on that no matter what you show them. Because they're afraid of the IRS. But anyway, what's your question?
That's the only thing I had to mention I could think of off head.
Yeah,
I was just going over that myself the other day.
Now I did a show on a W-9. Did I do another? I don't think I did a bi-weekly on the W-9. I think it was last Tuesday.
I missed it.
On how to fill that out properly if you're going to use that form. In there's a provision that you can actually create your own W-9 with the oath or when you sign that, you can change that up to fit your needs because it actually says it that long as it's similar to the original W-9, it can be used. So listen to that show on Tuesday that I did, and because your job asks for a W-9 as well. So if you give them a W-9 looks similar to theirs, and it has the verbiage of what you need in it, then you got them under contract knowingly that you are not giving them a social when you setting up with that job,
So the W-9 is what the EIN goes? You put the EIN on the W-9?
W-9 you either give them a social or EIN. That form is used by corporations to verify your number. You're certifying that that's your correct 9-digit number. That's one of the requirements that they have you fill out with the W-4 form. Because people were just giving any number. Now they say, well, you need to give a W-9 with your paperwork now because people are giving these fake numbers or these numbers that are not socials. But I'm saying instead of filling out the W-9 the way it is, because if you don't put the right number on it, you can get in trouble. But if you create your own W-9, look similar to theirs, and you just put the number that you're going to be giving them for them to do their information statement, because that's what all it's for, to let the IRS know what they paid that number or that account throughout the it's an information. That's what they, so that's what the 1099 is. So go listen to that show and you'll see what I was going over. I might do a 2-week on that and break it down even further. The reason why I haven't done a 2-week on it because it's something else I want to put with that for people who go to the job. I won't teach you on the job thing yet because I don't have something all the way concrete that'll keep you from losing your job. So I don't teach stuff that's going to put you in jeopardy,
Right.
So,
I understand that.
but I'm close. I'm telling you, I'm very close. But like I was telling earlier, that stuff I'm going to the private forums with because that's messing with their money. And if I tell it in the public, y'all might not hear from Hindsight Radio. That's a lot of money. Do you imagine if everybody learned that the W-4 was a fraud? Because it is. It's a big fraud. When you read the law,
We learn.
not
We
even done correct. It's not even
learning it.
correctly. You know, you're supposed to have a statement along with the W-4 certification form saying that you want them to take money out. Nobody ever fills out an official statement. But I'll go over that in 2 weeks. Anyway, anybody else? You finished with your questions?
Yeah, man. Peace to the cause.
All right, Pete.
Who's that? Guys, man, I got a quick question if I can get in.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, this is Elder Von Bay. I'm calling from Ohio now. I know you the passport information you talking about today.
Because it's coming back as an echo. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Is that better?
Yeah. I still hear myself a little bit, not as bad. Nah, that I can still hear.
Okay.
You must got me on speaker.
Right. How about that?
Let me see. That's better.
My apologies.
All right. What's your question?
Let me disconnect this.
No, we can hear you. Hello? All right. Something happened.
Okay, you got me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. I know this was in regards to the passport, in regards to the tax information. Now, how would that apply to individuals who have situations with the child support system? Because one of my brothers, he has a job in Nigeria, and he applied for his passport, and they sent it back saying that he owed outstanding child support when he actually had paid $10,000 to clear his child support. But you know how they play games with processing the payment with that state that has support order on it. But this same remedy, would it apply, or is it a little different?
No, it won't apply. Child support is a different situation, different agency. You have to fight that separately. I will probably do a lesson on that in about a month or so after I do the W-4. But basically, I've already taught about how to deal with child support. I got child support templates, child support webinars. Been very successful with the with that. So if he gets that, that will help him get out of that. See, I always tell people, don't apply for no passport until you clear up those issues with those other agencies. Even if you're coming in as a national, they're going to still play with you because they know the application is only good for 90 days. So they're going to send that initial letter, hey, you got this problem. Then you got to fight it. This guy don't have to. He can fight this by just told him, yo, how are you stopping me my ability to travel off of this here? That's for U.S. citizens. I'm not that. You see? Same thing with the child support. That's U.S. citizen stuff. But you got to remember, with child support, you're definitely under a contract, especially if he's been paying it. So
right, and that's the thing. He paid it off just so he can make this move to go take this job in Nigeria. They have his visa and everything over there for him, but he was just in the beginning stages of becoming a secure party creditor. So he paid that to make sure he wouldn't have no issues with them. Well, and now he's
ain't gonna help him on that for sure. I can tell you that right now. That don't even have to anything to do with it. He got to go to that jurisdiction that got the order on him or got the certification and shut it down. And if he paid it, you got to let him, hey, I paid it. I need this. I need to be able to get my passport so I can work, so I can keep paying one way or the other. He's going to have to go back to the jurisdiction that put the order out there or the certification. Basically, what he's going to have to do.
Okay, thanks, brother. I yield the floor.
All right, peace. Who's next? Anybody else? All right, if that's it, I'm gonna shut it down. I look forward to. I got my show tomorrow at 7 p.m.
Hey, Akeem, I'm sorry. I was trying to get in, but it wasn't going through.
Oh, okay.
I do have a question. Yes, sir. Hey, this Peace of the Gods. This is John Blackstar. I am starting a new job. I switched jobs, and on your webinar, you have the form for notice of voluntary Social Security W-4, I-9, and W-9.
I don't put that stuff on my website because it's so volatile.
Oh, no. I mean, it's on your webinar. I bought the tax webinar, and the form is on there. And then I
had the first one. I gave y'all some forms to use, but I also gave y'all a disclosure on use.
Roger that. No. I got you. I understand that. So I'm about to start this new job.
I forgot because I did that webinar in 2016. So I
yes, sir.
that it was in there.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah. So I went and found the actual forms online, and I printed them all out, and it came out in a pack of 4. So I'm about to sign all the paperwork for the new job.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna fill out the W-4, but I'm not going to provide a Social Security number. And I've already pre-printed a W-4, and I've entered into where it has a line for social. I put in their employee refused to provide because that's what the instructions say on the form, on the notice form. But I'm not signing it. So you, as advice, do you think me providing those forms with that W-4 and the I-9, because I'm providing my passport, will be okay for them? They shouldn't trip.
They will take it initially. Now, depending on how that company is set up, me knowing people in human resources, they have software in their computer that doesn't let them move past a certain point unless they have the social. That's where you might run into some roadblocks.
Okay.
What I would do is go listen to my show on Tuesday about the W.
Oh, I already did. I already listened to that one.
Try to get you or give them your own W-9. This way, it'll be a valid number that can be verified, but you're letting them know that it's not your social at the same time.
Roger.
Right. That's how I would do that if you're going to do that way. This way, you're not signing off that form as is, certifying that this is you're certain when you do your form, it's going to have, like, I would actually change out the under penalty and perjury and put, hey, under penalty and perjury, this is not my social. This is my estate number, whatever you're going to use, or EIN, and then put the laws to say, I'm not obligated to give you the social, which you have the paperwork that says that on it. I would stick that in that W-9 form.
Okay. Sounds great.
You see what I'm saying? So
yes, sir.
All right. Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody else? You're welcome. Anybody else? All right. With that being said, thanks for tuning in. My show is tomorrow, 7 p.m., the True Tuesday show. Thursday is the More Empire Building show, and Friday is Freedom Fridays with my son. Oh, on another note,
yeah, peace, God, we got 10 minutes.
got 10 minutes, but ain't nobody asking no questions. But I'm gonna tell y'all, give y'all. I'm not gonna tell you who. I'm not gonna say the name. He is a part of the team. Well, there's only 2 of the team, but he had a traffic issue over almost a year and a half ago, a little less than. And he did his passport, and the case is not even showing up on the website anymore. Gone, disappeared, done. And that was just this morning, just checking, But I'll let him tell his own story when he,
That's dope.
Yeah, it's gone. And I just checked this case 2 weeks ago to see the disposition of it. When you get rid of a case, they either say dismiss, dispose, They don't just disappear from the whole website.
Right.
It's gone. It's like it never happened. You know what I'm saying? So
Well, you
It had don't have no
All right,
standing.
go ahead, bro.
The
yeah.
judicial system don't have no standing because it ain't got no money. The money they're using is our money. So how they gonna have any standing? They had
Well,
to delete
that's
that.
true. That's true what you just said. They don't have Stammen simply for this. He's not a U.S. citizen. He's a national. Those courts can only handle U.S. citizens. That's why I always see. I know people talk about the money and all of that stuff and secure party creditor, but in my experience over the years since I've been helping people with cases, I always beat case with jurisdiction, meaning I'm not a person you can adjudicate in this court. Now I know they got other groups that use their different IDs, but the stuff I've been using has more. I have seen more success use doing it this way, letting them know I'm a national, but not a citizen of the United States. Has caused judges to come off benches and cases to disappear.
What you mean, like putting in the non-citizen national
Just
paperwork along with the certified copy of the Constitution?
well, when we started this case, he didn't have a passport yet. So I just put in he was a certain type of national, but not a citizen of the United States. And then I rebutted their affidavits. Well, I did a motion to dismiss first, but I did my motion to dismiss. And at the start out of every paperwork, I always identify as a national, but not a citizen of the United States. It's like, and I also put in a notice of appearance as a national, but not a citizen of the United States. See, the problem before with people is they're going in there raising all these other issues that they really can't prove. I can prove that I'm a national simply by way of my birth certificate. I wasn't born in the United States. I was born in the country of New York. You see? I'm letting them know I'm part of the republic and part of this democratic U.S. citizen crap.
Part of the de jure.
Right. So you got to come at me differently. Now, what I forgot to mention, I'm glad I paused. Go back and read the duties of the secretary. For them to refuse you a passport for child support or tax obligations, the secretary is not fulfilling his duties to the American, because the duties of the secretary says as follows: to give passport to Americans. It doesn't say U.S. citizens. See, you got to understand. And if you stick that in your letter, hey, your duty is, I'm an American national, but not a citizen of the United States. Your duty is to give me a passport. You see?
Bring that fire, God.
Right. See, a lot of people don't see, they see words and they get confused, and they're using specific words for specific reasons, and you got to understand the game when they're bringing out these words. So yeah, okay, that's right for you U.S. citizens to refuse me for that, but I ain't that. Basically, that tax obligation is attached to a straw man that I am not. So what that got to do with me? Basically, okay, yeah.
You know, it's funny you said that.
But I don't. Yeah.
It's funny you said that because I was watching Suicide Squad last night, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in one of the scenes, the white dude goes into the bar where they going to get somebody to do a hit for him.
Mm-hmm.
So the bartender, he's talking to the bartender, whatever have you, and he ends up saying to the bartender, "No, I'm a really cool white guy. I am trying to disenfranchise it. Had I not read and came to the meeting and understand who Pitchfork Bill Tillman was, I would have never caught that.
Mm-hmm.
I would have never caught it.
Right. They tell y'all
I've seen the movie a dozen times, and I never caught it.
They tell y'all in movies.
I didn't know.
Y'all, because you're not educated and you haven't read anything to make the connections, you don't catch it. But most movies, they are sent telling you stuff. Like for instance, let's use The Matrix as an example, right? They say everything's a matrix, but in order to get remedy, they had to go into the matrix.
Right.
All their
It's like saying
superpowers
all
was in
roads
the
lead to
matrix.
court. Yeah, it's like saying all roads lead to court. You got to go into court and let your paperwork go before you to establish who you are. So when you go in there, you coming in with your feds on you ready to, like, you know what, this we not gonna go there with you. All right, cool.
Right. And when if you remember the scene when they come in, they docking into Zion, the people that bring them into the dock was tapped in to a computer, bringing them in.
That's right.
So even Zion was tapped into the matrix.
Checking his account number. His account number.
You know what I'm saying? But it's how you operate in the matrix that either gives you U.S. citizen powers or American national powers. You see?
Yes, sir.
This whole I'm getting out, I'm going over here. No. You got to be tapped in somehow, but it's how you're tapped in that's given. Even the rogue computer programs had special powers. The Mirror Vinci, you know what I'm saying? Or the Keymaster. They were all part of the Matrix with special powers. That's all I'm trying to teach y'all, how to have special powers inside the Matrix. Because unfortunately, the Matrix is where you got to go get your food, your money, and do your commerce. Nothing else out there. So, all right, y'all. I appreciate it. Y'all have a good one. Peace.
Peace to God. Peace.